it's Chazray, and you're watching Still Crazy After All These Beers at Atlantic City Beer Fest. Woo! Yeah!
Still Crazy After All These Beers is brought to you by our friends at Michelob, crafting a better beer. And Porta Pong, the world's #1 best-selling inflatable beer pong table at portapong.com.
Atlantic City Beer Fest 2010. Here's a guy I've been with several years at these festivals, Patrick Mullin from a great company in Chico, California called Sierra Nevada. And Patrick, I was with you last night. At least I think I was.
I have vague memories of that myself.
Right, exactly. But one thing we were chatting about is the tremendous history behind Sierra Nevada. Now, this company's how old?
30 years this year.
Oh, my goodness. I'm wearing socks 30 years old.
First craft brewery to make it to 30 years under the same ownership.
Absolutely, and I remember one of the other points we chatted about is when you think about Sierra Nevada, you think about your flagship beer, which is Pale Ale, and it's an absolutely remarkable beer. Are you drinking that right now, by the way?
No, I'm actually drinking our Summerfest Pilsner Lager.
Okay, and that's kind of where I was going.
There are Summerfest. I'll head into Pale Ale later.
There are other great beers. Let's pick up on Summerfest.
Sure. Seasonal product, brand new, just released this week, as a matter of fact. We do 4 seasonals over the course of the year. We'll be bringing 16 or 17 different beers to market this year in the eastern United States. Northern California, we do even more than that. But Summerfest is a very authentic Pilsner-style lager, noble hops, 5% alcohol, very smooth and refreshing. Great summer drinking. We don't do any fruit beers at Sierra Nevada, so we go the Pilsner route for our summer beer.
And you know what? Sierra Nevada, I guess, reflects maybe they're a leader in what's going on around the country, and that's you're seeing a lot of the limited edition beers, the seasonal beers.
We've been doing that, especially in the last couple of years. You know, our breweries really stepped up to the plate in terms of offering some unique and different kinds of products. We really kind of hung our hat on Pale Ale for a long time, and it's the #1 selling Pale Ale in the country. It's 80% of our business. It's our flagship brand. But more recently, with our seasonal program and some of our specialty products, you might be familiar with our Harvest Ale series of wet hop and fresh hop beers. And then we have an anniversary series coming out this year as well to celebrate our 30th anniversary. It's called the Sierra 30 series.
Wow.
And it's collaboration beers with individuals who influenced Ken Grossman when he founded the brewery 30 years ago. So some real luminaries in the brewing industry. The first one actually you'll be seeing in the market soon is with Fritz Maytag of Anchor Brewing. You know, really a pioneer. I mean, he was late 60s when he took over Anchor and really revitalized that brewery. So all 750 milliliter corked and caged.
Wow.
The first one with Fritz is an Imperial Stout, 9.2% alcohol. Yeah, because of the cork, we're a little concerned about oxidation, so they're all going to be pretty big, chewy beers.
Now, one guy I remember we talked about last night was Jack McAuliffe.
Correct.
And maybe you would like to define for the people the influence Jack has had on Sierra Nevada and the entire craft brewing world.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's actually going to be the 3rd beer in the series. The 2nd beer we're doing with Charlie Papazian and Fred Eckert. Again, some real standout individuals in the craft beer community. Jack McAuliffe was the founder of New Albion Brewing back in 1976. So he actually beat Sierra Nevada to the punch by 4 years and is really considered to be the guy behind the first startup craft brewery in this country. Fritz Maytag was late 60s, but he bought a previously existing facility and revitalized it. Jack McAuliffe was a home brewer who built a brewery from scratch, which is exactly what Ken Grossman did. So unfortunately, went out of business in 1982. There haven't been any New Albion beers on the market for quite some time now, but really he's kind of credited with kind of starting this whole revolution, if you will, of, you know, small home brewers, you know, kind of getting together and starting their own joints and putting together used dairy equipment and used soda bottling equipment and kind of building from scratch. I mean, there's a great picture of Ken Grossman sitting on the ground with a big sheet of sheet metal, and he's drilling holes in it. He drilled 5,000 holes by hand into a piece of sheet metal to make his own lauter tub. I mean, really, at the time in 1980, you couldn't just go and buy a little brew house. I mean, nowadays they're on the market. There's breweries going in and out of business. There's companies who specialize in little, you know, 2-barrel, 3-barrel, 5-barrel, 10-barrel systems. 1980, none of that was going on. So you really kind of had to do it yourself. So.
Any idea, Patrick, on the total volume of Sierra Nevada?
This year we're hoping to do around 750,000 barrels of beer. Wow. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but you know, it's less than half the size of Yuengling. It's a lot smaller than even a Sam Adams. I mean, I actually did the math, and I think these stats are accurate. I got it all off the internet, but in the United States alone, Budweiser AB InBev will produce this year in 1.5 days what we will produce the entire year.
Isn't that amazing?
So we're really, I mean, we're the 6th largest brewery in the country, but we're really kind of a flash in the pan compared to, you know, some of the behemoths out there.
And the curious thing, and I know you've heard this so many times all over the country, when I talk with people who've started up a little mom-pop microbrewery, several, maybe 100 barrels a year, if they create a pale ale, invariably they say, well, we're fashioning ours after Sierra Nevada. That's the benchmark for pale ales in this country. Would you not agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously my opinion's a little bit biased, but
I hear it, and I don't work for anyone other than myself.
In 1980, really nobody was making beer like this. So when pale ale hit the market 30 years ago, it was kind of an oh my gosh beer for a lot of the beer drinking public. 100% whole cone hops, a lot of attention to detail, care, quality, craft. You know, we really, for the first 29 years of this brewery's existence, there was no advertising. You've never seen a Sierra Nevada ad, you've never heard a Sierra Nevada ad because they didn't exist.
That's right.
So to become the 6th largest brewery in the country, essentially word of mouth, it really, you know, is a testament to the quality of the product, and it allowed Ken to take all of that money that other brewers would put into a big advertising campaign to get on the Super Bowl and all, and he really put it right back into the plant. And it's a state-of-the-art facility. There's brewers that send their beer to us so we can run it through our labs because we've got, he's a very caring and generous individual to the craft community, so we've actually helped some breweries solve their problems because we're able to test for things that they're not able to do in their own facilities.
You know, you talked about Fritz a little bit earlier, and you know, even like a Sam Adams, a Boston Beer, and so many of these companies have gotten into distilling. Even Dogfish Head, you know, they've got a pretty good line of products out. Has that ever been something that's been discussed at Sierra Nevada?
I'm sure it has been because they've discussed just about everything at Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
It's not something that we have done to date. We have actually sent our wort to a small distiller out in California who has done some kind of specialty one-off products. I don't even think they're commercially available. I think it's, you know, people having fun, and you know, I've got the chance to try some at Ken's house and at his son's house, so there is a little bit of that out there, but we really, I think, are focusing all of our energies on the beer end of things. So, you know, we created last year what we believe is the only in the world 100% estate-grown beer. We grew all the hops at the brewery grounds. We grew all the barley at the brewery grounds. We used our own proprietary yeast strain. So we're putting more energy and effort into that kind of thing. We're going to look into roasting our own malts. We might even been doing our own malting. This past year, we actually had to send our barley out to be malted for us. We're looking into maybe doing our own maltings at the brewery. So we're really, I think, going to, at least for the moment, concentrate our energies on the beer end of things and maybe not the spirit end of things.
And how about the water?
Water comes from aquifers in the Chico. You know, all the water comes out of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. There's 60 some odd or 80 some odd aquifers in the Chico area, so it's actually, exactly, it's a great source. A lot of breweries locate where the water is, and then we're no exception. So great quality and quantity of water available to us.
It's, as we wrap this up, you've got to feel really good about the product that you represent, knowing that people love Sierra Nevada.
Sure, absolutely. No, I mean, there you go. Here we go, Sierra Nevada 30 Series, Fritz and Ken's Ale right there for you. Yeah, it's really, I mean, I was really in a kind of a unique position. I ran a beer bar for 10 years and got to know a ton of area brewers, and even nationally I got to know a lot of brewmasters and a lot of people in the sales end of things. And I don't want to say I had my choice of places to work, but I didn't even talk to anybody else. Sierra approached me. I didn't even go to another brewery and look at what I was out there. I mean, it was really, it is a respectable joint that I'm proud to be a part of. So,
Patrick, thanks for joining us here. It's Still Crazy after all these beers. Always good seeing you, man.
Good seeing you, my friend. Let's get you one of those beers.
We'll see you next time on Still Crazy.